It does mean that forZe likely will be starting on the CT side. We know their CT side is pretty sharp, so maybe they can actually build up a bit of momentum and get that confidence back.
Yeah, indeed. It'd definitely be nice considering the first half of Ancient left them so far down that just mentally staying in the game was half the challenge in itself. Anyway, let's jump into Nuke. ENCE indeed on that T side. Only one nade set. Snappy, smoke in hand. That's going to go on towards Mini. Flashes well over all 5 of the members towards this outer position. Norvi going for a bit of a spam, but no connections just yet. And look at how these players, Vince, have gained ground in towards heaven. What on earth just happened? Zorte pushing through the door, finds the first frag. Dotto coming through heaven. Oh, Jerry, look at Jerry. I didn't even know that spot existed. He will be dropped eventually, but it was a nice idea. 3-on-3 now, not for long. Norvi finds another. As Vince, this has been complete chaos.
Complete chaos, but what we do know once the smoke is cleared is that ENCE are a player behind, but also DreamHack is limping his way towards the site. Coming out, they will get a freebie of a plant down. None of forZe can deny this unless Shalvi goes for the peek, which he does. I thought Hades had DreamHack covered. I think DreamHack felt the same way. And now Hades going to be dialing in the numbers and gets double peek. They deny the bomb plant on top of it. That's a huge win for forZe.
Not to mention, no bomb plant for ENCE. So if they do indeed invest into this one, it's not going to be all the Galils. It's not going to be all the AKs, and should be a much easier cleanup for that CT side and forZe. And to me, it feels like just getting off to a strong start here on the CT side is going to be a long way, a huge part of the battle in terms of regaining their composure in this series. So it will be the force buy from ENCE. A lot of nades in play, and it's going to be very interesting to see where they're landing. Ramp rush is on the cards. Kenzie up close, dropping off the box. A lot of connections, a team kill in there for good measure, as Spinks does eventually get a reply, but it's forZe up 2 men, 3 versus 1.
Oh, but it is Spinks. He was a hitman that last map. So deadly. Has the bomb. Kevlar behind the M4. Now, he does lack head armor, so a bullet to the dome and he's a goner from any of these weapons. But he's got so much time to play with. Again, though, it's not necessarily about getting the win. If he can take another weapon or 2 away from forZe, it could even spring ENCE into another force buy, knowing that the CT's economy is hanging by a thin thread. So he's got time by his side, he's got positioning by his side, and judging from the CT's positions themselves, he could maybe try and divide and conquer them. If he can pick off one player here, it puts them into a really awkward position as he sneaks his way downstairs. He does have Jerry to contend with, but keep in mind that Jerry on a lowly 27 HP.
MP9 as well, so even if it's a straight-up duel, you'd heavily favour Spinks, unless Jerry can catch him off guard. Looking around, he's ready player. There's no one for the moment. Smoke for the plant, so that could have been an opportunity. Decided instead just to tap, and Jerry, very nice piece of timing to peek out as forZe scave off the force buy. It's going to be a heavy eco now for ENCE, so forZe, the name of the game now, it should already be a round win, is getting 4 or 5 alive and really banking up some cash. So when the rifles come out from ENCE, they just can't get reset immediately. So forZe, time to build up some cash.
Absolutely. I think ENCE have a good read of the situation themselves, though. They're putting themselves down into a couple players fairly low. D had 1200, and it's a Mac 10. Suggests that we could have an explosive round here on the side of the T. Some Deagles alongside it. Snappy spots a bit of prey. Jerry, though, sprays 2, gets the second headshot onto Hades instantly around the corner. He may have had a slow start on Ancient, but that's certainly not the case here.
Shalfi, USP in hand. Denies any more opportunities. Just DreamHack. He brought up that Mac 10. He decided, I'm going to go fast over the silo and onto mini roof. He did find one, so a little bit of economic damage. But forZe, to be honest, they'll be very, very pleased to keep 4 alive. Now, going into this one, MP9 in play, and the FAMAS, they have managed to drop an AWP over to Zorte. So the overall buy is looking pretty good, but playing standard setups can be a little bit of a problem with this FAMAS and MP9 in play. We'll see what forZe choose to go for.
They have both sides of the spectrum. The aggression of the MP9, as you say, and the more passive style with Zorte's AWP. Flashes are good onto the side. ENCE decide not to go full on. All guns blazing, or perhaps they will. Tons of flashes, consecutive flashes to the back of the site, but Norway is still here, still kicking, still claiming frags. 3 headshots in quick succession, and this A side hit has been well and truly busted. 2 frags. That won't be good enough for ENCE though.
Huge impact there from Norvi. I believe he was actually full white on top of the silos as those players were swinging in. You can see they're just about falling off, but these, as impact frags go, are absolutely massive. Back on the eco now, ENCE, as Norvi completely locks down that A bomb site. What a monster round from him.
I feel like a huge component of ENCE on both sides of Nuke is Hades. A lot of the rounds live or die off their AWPer, and he's yet to really have too much impact. Now, to be fair to him, haven't seen him with that AWP just yet. Norvi will be called upon once again. His teammate's gone down, and DreamHack with the MAC-10 takes off his head. A terrible buy from ENCE, but it's yielded so much in return. It should be a post plant. Kenzie can't stop this just yet. Otherwise, he'll be burnt to a crisp. And takes 1 tick of the fire damage and pieces out of there. Looking great for the T's first round.
Great A rush coming out from ENCE, and the entry frags were even better. forZe have already consigned themselves to the save. They know their money, while it's good, it's not worth throwing away these rifles. And the other aspect is, if you give these pistols the rifles, they can save them over and even bolster that T economy even further. So they made the right decision to play the waiting game as it was, economically wise. So gonna be the save from forZe. ENCE, though, whilst their rifle round looks pretty lackluster, they go for an A hit immediately again, and this time it works out in a pretty odd sequence of affairs.
Very odd indeed. Not really the kind of play that you can bank on round in, round out. I think forZe are going to have a pretty good counter to that. We have seen a couple times, though, that ENCE have certainly toyed and flirted with the idea of going fast A with a ton of flashes. It was Norvi, as you touched on, even while fully flashed, was still able to put up 3 frags. And it seems like Dotto is going to consistently just pivot over and try and pinch onto the main side. They're coming through again. Norvi gets 1, but it will be a 1 and done. DreamHack low, but still trying to just brute force his way outside of the squeaky door. And Hades plucks out the frag onto Shalvi. A 3-on-3. So much time left, but Zorti in a fantastic spot to just suddenly flank and pincer in. But he gets caught in transition. Jerry, in the meanwhile, goes and doubles up with his frags. The bomb's been spilled down, and it's looking great for forZe. They've picked up their 5th.
Pair of 3Ks as well from behind that silo position. This time, though, is Jerry chiming in with the trifecta. Look at this, just dancing around this silo position. Hades, he's even posted up on the reswing, and Jerry wins out and then repositioning to CT vent to find the final frag. So ENCE still on a buy, still have the AWP on Hades, but considering this is their map pick, this is the T side, I feel like, Vince, I'm getting a little bit of deja vu here as they're really struggling on the T side of their map pick.
Yes, we have certainly seen this. Saw it yesterday against Fnatic, saw it earlier on Ancient. Problem here for me, though, is that whereas in the past ENCE always had one person who was really shining, yet to see that. Spinks, good headshot onto Jerry, but it has been counteracted. Shalvi's position just on the secret thwarts away, and that Molotov extinguished in the smoke. That means that Shalvi can just sit here and wait for quite a bit longer now.
Oh, Kenzie had no idea Dosso could be up close, and Norvi also caught out of position, and I'm not sure what happened there, Vince. It might have been a communication mistake, because they clearly had no clue that Dosso could have worked himself so close, and it's just Zorte remaining. Honestly, even saving onto this AWP might even be a result at this point. Even so, I doubt they know his positioning right now. He's not scoping in. He's not giving away that information. Dosso, though, he's up on Mustang as a T-side player. You don't see that so much. So a very important round from ENCE, but honestly, that feels like forZe dropping the ball to me.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great opportunistic sort of instinct for Dotto to go ahead and just press forward, but absolutely. The fact that they were maneuvering in such a way, transitioning into that flanking player, suggests to me they had absolutely no idea about it. And I wonder if it was kind of a false narrative that was being built from Shalvy's perspective there in secret, having heard nothing. If he relayed that information to the rest of his team and it kind of caught them off guard. Either way, forZe now have dwindled their economy. They're still able to squeak out one more buy, and that may be good enough because Shalvy and ENCE just push the aggression outside and they yield 3 kills.
Looking so much more proactive on the CT side of Nuke than on the T side of Ancient. That's what they need. Balls to the wall, get aggressive, stop showing these ENCE players so much respect, and it works out perfectly. Shalfie, the young gun, the inexperienced player, don't put him in the difficult rotator position. Don't put him in a spot where he has to make a lot of decisions. Get him aggressive and use his strengths. And look at these frags pivoting on a dime. 2 for Shalfie. The flash was even better. forZe, 4 rounds to the good, and ENCE's buy actually is a little bit better than I expected for a few seconds, but this is getting to really dangerous territory. They need to get some gun rounds here on the board.
Snappy somewhat disappeared in terms of frags. You can't really expect him to be the star player, though, as he was on Ancient. As you say as well, completely agree with you. The fact that forZe are taking more initiative, taking the game by the scruff of the neck now and imposing their will on it, it's really what yielded Snappy so many frags in that first half on Ancient. He was playing aggressively outside of Cheetah, dictating the pace of the action. So maybe we'll see that when the roles are reversed. The question for me, though, is like, how many rounds will ENCE finish this half on? Will they have enough to play with? We saw forZe really succumb to that very issue on Ancient as the first kill comes in, and it's ENCE again dropping DreamHack.
Looking like a team flash is well in there for good measure. And as you said, what are we looking at here? It's got to be at least 4 rounds, surely. We know Nuke is CT-sided, but with the economy, surely it'd be too much to ask for if they can't at least get up to that 4, kind of 5 mark. Nonetheless, forZe already 1 man to the good in this one. Alone towards the outer areas, Hades trying to sell a little bit of presence when clearly we can see on the minimap that bomb is towards Squeaky, and the flashbang doesn't find anybody for the moment. Jerry could get double peeked here, but look at the spacing, Vince. Where's the trade? Jerry gets out with his life, and they're in a 5-on-3, no trades at all. Now Hades is coming in, but Jerry, I thought he's going to win that duel, but he doesn't. 4-on-3, Norvi called upon again behind this silo position, and he's so good here. forZe again looking magnificent. Hades, he has to save.
It's the same question, though. I'll ask you the same question you just posed to me. Where were the counter frags? Norvi just got 2 kills at the back of silo and made it look like the easiest couple frags of his life. There was no urgency. There was no pace being picked up, and Hades may not even be allowed to save this AWP. He just narrowly gets away with it. It's not just the AWP he was saving, it was also his economy at the end of the day, because he would have been on $300 with absolutely nothing if he'd have died there. But this is incredibly bleak. ENCE, can they feasibly put much behind this AWP? I think it's going to have to be a hero AWP kind of situation with a half buy alongside it.
Yeah, really scary now from that kind of economy perspective, because unless Hades saves over again, his buy is going to be terrible in the following round. In this one, though, we're looking at Hades for any opportunity to open up the scoreboard. Instead, though, it's Jerry that chimes in first. And in terms of the discussion of ENCE's team play, ENCE's trading, what we saw on the CT side of Ancient was such amazing team play. The flashbangs peaking together, the timings were so good. And here on Nuke, they've completely fallen flat in that respect. Where is the team play? What's gone wrong? Where's the communication now? Hades a little bit of a boost, but Shalfie sees the barrel. He sees the barrel. Hades is dropped. Thinks surely soon to follow. Oh, a bit of an awkward spray. Kenzie's here to bail him out, though. Just 2 remaining, and even economic damage might be a stretch here for ENCE.
Especially considering it's only really Kenzie that's feeling any kind of negative effects. It's only his accountant that maybe has a bit of a grimace on his face, but of course can just get dropped across, and that's assuming he even dies in this round, which is very unlikely to happen because Snappy's already picked up the big green and he's already headed back on the T side of the map towards the spawn side. Only 1 kill to his name. Keep in mind, early on Ancient, he had 13 kills and 4 deaths. Now the tides have changed. An entirely different ball game here on this T side of Nuke. And it has consistently been these T-halves that have caused ENCE a lot of trouble over the duration of this tournament. And indeed, you could argue even at the major as well. forZe have a good idea of the situation. They're going to be barreling down on Snappy. How is your AWPing? Can you hold the line? 5 seconds to play with. If he dies after time, it's going to be so horrendous. And that's exactly what comes to pass. Actually, did he die just before the time?
I think he died just in regulation time there. But that was 0.1 seconds between him actually having a buy here and him on a pistol. So almost an important death, which is strange to say. But yeah, as you pointed out, this is getting extremely scary for ENCE, and we saw them up against forZe last time around on Nuke. It wasn't quite this bad. They certainly had their issues on the T side of Nuke, but perhaps that's just the bias of the map. This time around, it doesn't even feel like there's been so many opportunities for ENCE, and they decided we need to go back aggressive. We need to go back to the A plays. No, it's down the vent. The bomb's already down there. Kenzie, he's very fast in from ramp, in towards control. Bomb is being stuck in towards that old toxic area. Dotto finds the first. Why is the bomb running up towards ramp and not just getting stuck? What's happened here for ENCE? The bomb is dropped and it's in the hands of the CTs now.
Some mismanagement once again on the side of ENCE as DreamHack gets one quick fire headshot onto Jerry. Nicely done. But now Dotto and Hades have to try and pick up the bomb that was so unceremoniously thrown away in a very awkward position. Now, Zorti, he's a little bit flustered and unsure as to where these T's are. The timing actually works against him. He was a split second too late on the turn. This could cost him his life, and it could put his teammate in jeopardy as well. He's been spotted. Hades knows at least one of the remaining CTs in control room. And now Dotto can peer over, sprays down. Now, did he realize that was the AWP? Now they definitely know Zorti's position. It's been compromised. He's been busted. Flashbang up and over. Try and deny some vision so we can go in for the peak, but they still haven't picked up the bomb. And with 25 seconds left, one of these two T's has to go in for it. You have to just throw in the Hail Mary. Try and make a play. HC up and over, and there's the frag behind it they were looking for. Post plant comes into play, and Norvi, who has been a man on a mission on the A site, now has to show us his versatility on the other side. Waiting for that smoke to clear, AK in hand. He has no idea where these two T's are. One in shadow, one behind new box. Gonna come in. There's the spray. It's good. There's no counteractive frag, but there it is. Finally, ENCE show us something.
Absolute roller coaster that round. ENCE, it felt like they'd made the huge mistake first, not just sticking that bomb and setting up for the afterpun. And then forZe, what on earth was going on there, Vince, with them not respecting ramp? Why is Kenzie open to ramp here? It's clearly a place that the T side could have been, and they're not respecting it at all. We saw Zorte, he actually saw the barrel. Now, whether he actually registered it, I'm not sure, but he could have seen the barrel there, and that was a complete mess from forZe. That might even be a turning point in this half. Again, aggressive on towards A. They are not relenting here, ENCE. And again, it's the same story. Jerry and Norvi, complete lockdown on this A bomb site. ENCE can't get in at all.
It just seems like there's a lot of boxes that are going unchecked that are fundamentals. Like, the least you want to do if you're going to hit fast A is throw a Molotov towards top of hut. It's just these kind of angles that forZe are consistently sticking on that they're getting away with murder. Honestly, like, that was 2 kills, top of hut, second player on the back of the silos. The easiest crossfire that forZe could have asked for. Now Zorti's going to get wide swung. Snappy intelligently knows that he can't overextend, because there's going to be a plenty of CTs, a smattering of counter-terrorists over there on the side. Hades' flick is missed. Now as a way back into the round, a golden ticket goes begging, and Snappy, unfortunately, only with the MAC-10, is lacking the penetration the likes of an AK would have for an insta headshot. And so he will be bested. For any of the slips and slides that forZe had in the previous round, they have been annulled with that victory that they've just picked up.
A very important round in general, also for the economy. Despite the scoreline overall, ENCE have done a pretty good job of keeping that forZe money honest. And it's only now when they're in a really tough position of whether to full invest. And if they don't, that gives forZe a well-needed opportunity to actually get some money in the bank. So tactical timeout comes in, and it seems exceedingly likely that what they're doing right now is discussing, do we full invest into this one? We can get rifles on 3 players. We can get nades on the other two. So, oh, it's really borderline. Vince, where would you lean on this one?
It's super tough. I don't envy Snappy's position at all. I think for me, I'd probably force, but that's mainly because of the 9-3 scoreline. And I feel like maybe applying pressure here in this round and you win could afford you a passage to maybe 5 or 6 rounds. So if it was my choice, I am a complete scrub, so take that for what it's worth. And Snappy's decided, okay, they're going to kind of come up with a compromise. They have to hero buy. They have enough Kevlar and pistols to make a go of this one, but they're not fully forcing. They're not putting all of their chips on the table.
Loss bonus, though, is fairly racked up for ENCE, so you'd assume so with a plant. The buy next could still be good, and Spinks, man. Listen, he's had a tough half so far. He hasn't looked brilliant on the rifles at all times on the T side here, but Deagle in hand, this guy knows exactly what he's doing. A much-needed opening pick, though. Jerry spamming through the smoke. A little bit perplexing, but he does get the reply. 4 and 4, but Bomb making its way down secret.
Well, so far, the only thing that ENCE have had to cheer about in this round is that Spinks 1 Deeg. And forZe and their fans will be grinning from ear to ear if they can successfully swat away this round and hit double digits first. Kenzie, in the meanwhile, going to be joined alongside Zorti, take a bit of control over the stairway. And this is mainly facilitated by the fact that ENCE got down secret really quick, and forZe just being careful. Understandable, especially when you're up against a real mixed match of weaponry. Second rifle picked up. Oh, the right idea, but that shot narrowly misses. That could have been huge. That could have stalled them so much longer, but it may not end up mattering a great deal. Kenzie, Jerry, and Zorti all chimed together for frags, and it falls upon Snappy with an M4 to spray down. Instead, he's on the receiving end of Kenzie's AK-47, and forZe will hit 10.
In a regular game, I feel like we'd look at a scenario like that and say, ENCE, they're still getting the bomb down. They're doing economic damage. It just feels like when they're so far down on rounds, they have to take every opportunity. They get the bomb down in even close to an even scenario, not to get more frags out of that retake. I think they'll be a little bit disappointed. Hades, though, he is back on the AWP. Fairly good buy from that ENCE squad, so they don't get overtly punished for a slightly overinvestment in the last round. So this isn't too bad from that perspective. Zorte, though, he's switched it up. He's playing towards this squeaky position in towards mid. He takes a shot, but is forced to fall back, whilst it looks like Deha here taking a lot of ground in towards outer.
Ground is being covered. Unfortunately, ENCE haven't done a great deal with the real estate that they've been able to pick up. We've seen them get outside a couple of times, down secret. And then when it comes down to those nitty-gritty 3v3, 4v4s, forZe have been in pole position. Really made the most of their opportunities. Zoti's not even really been called upon. 5 kills from the AWPer. Because everybody else has been pulling their weight, and then some. Dotto dropping down onto main. Now Shalvi in garage, not really a position that we've seen too many times from forZe, and I think that may very well catch ENCE off guard. Deha is making moves down into secret, but they're bypassing this position, and Shalvi surely will get a kill. Snappy is put by the wayside, and that puts the T's now caught in 2 minds. Dotto would like to be focusing on Heaven. Instead, though, he has to look to garage, but still get the drop on Jerry.
Bomb is only now, though, making its way on towards secret, so there's still a chance here for forZe if they can get any information. But look at them, they're respecting Heaven so much that for now, they were holding all 4 on towards up. It's only at this point that Kenzie, coming in from ramp, is going to show a little bit of a defense here on B. Dotto is dropped immediately. What a frag from Kenzie. And now they realize Bomb is down on B. We need to group up for this retake, and it's going to be all 4 coming in from ramp.
And Spinks is woefully out of position as well. He was back towards the T side of the roof. Fortunately, though, Hades is able to alleviate some of the pressure that was mounting alongside Deha. Such important frags. And Novi gets battered through the doors before Hades finishes him off. And maybe ENCE will get their hands on another round yet. It will be a 4th. And Shalvi needs to be very careful here. Just getting out of the bomb detonation range, so we'll be able to hold on to this AUG. 4 rounds on ENCE, though. They'll keep their last 2 players alive, and with those 2 saved weapons, they'll be good to buy again. They seriously need this 5th, though.
Yeah, indeed. And this feels like such a grind here for ENCE to rack up any rounds. And this was a little bit chaotic in that 4-on-4 when they had control towards heaven and the bomb going lower. And I don't know, it feels so pivotal that they actually got that round over the line and up to 4 rounds. 5, though, would be even better, especially if they were to convert that second pistol. So not out the woods yet. And it feels to me like they still need to convert this one. A lot of presence on towards outer. Shalfie quickly into his secret. I don't think he was spotted. Maybe it was Hades actually mollying out his position. I think he was spotted. Smoke goes onto the molly. That will buy Shalfie some space to work with. And it looks like it's been a little bit CSGO there. That molly is still up.
Sorty, though, will be taking a nap for the final time in this half. A Snappy plunges him out. Shalfie still in position, but Hades had not budged an inch. Had his sights trained on that location. Snappy comes in for a second, and now it's starting to look better, but Jerry's actually just lined them up. 2 frags becomes 3. Hades is put in his place. And from a 5-on-2, suddenly it's a 2-on-2.
You can't lose this if you're ENCE. You cannot lose such an advantageous situation. Jerry, he's done so much work, but Dotto has looped himself all the way around, now coming in towards heaven. Snappy, he's in control, and Dotto gets dropped. That's the bomb as well, Vince. It's just Snappy left alone. And Jerry here, he might be on low HP, but he is tying the noose with every meter he walks behind Snappy.
An absolute disaster of a round for ENCE. Maybe Snappy can come up with the winning formula. A 5-on-2, and then Jerry lines them up, knocks them down like dominoes. Snappy is going to fall to Norvi, and forZe take the 11-4 half. We may not be done just yet in this best of 3. Rejoin us after the break to see if we go to a 3rd.
When a legacy is built, it all needs to start somewhere. And this legacy starts back in late 2015. Luminosity Gaming was struggling to find consistency in top-tier tournaments. No one was counting on the team to get things together anytime soon. For the Brazilian side, something needed to be done. Just a week before the tournament DreamHack Open Winter 2015 in Jönköping, Luminosity released players Steel and Bolts from the roster together with Coach Knack. In their place came FNX and Taco alongside Coach Suze. The tournament in Jönköping started off with a disaster for the Brazilians.
They came in this event a little bit under my radar. They start by getting absolutely battered by Fnatic 16-0, and the day after that, they beat ENCE, reigning champion of the major, and I think that's when everyone started to realize, wait a minute, we should really keep an eye on these players.
Doing the same, nobody hitting the shots, happy up here, here goes down.
Next up, NIP stood in the way of playoffs. After the Ninjas took the second map on OT, Luminosity secured the playoff by winning the decider.
And he's on the edge, and it is gonna be it!
Luminosity just kept on performing, winning the semi-final against Team Solo Mid, taking them into the finals for a rematch against Fnatic.
Can he smash the dreams of Luminosity?
Even though they didn't win the final, they showed what they were capable of. And the start of their legacy was a fact. The following year, the squad won both majors Columbus and Cologne, the latter one under their new flag of SK Gaming. And it all began at DreamHack Open Winter 2015.
Just thinking about love.
I'ma show love because there's really nothing to it. Everybody's gotta try it, come and join the movement. Gotta live, love life until it's all congruent. I'm going hard until they fill me with embalming fluid. Never have to stop and doubt when I'm the one that's watching out. Know you tried to get the rebound and life boxed you out. Never let the situation slow you up or stop you now. I'ma always help you to your feet when they knock you down. Everybody has their trials and their tribulations. Give it everything you got, the only stipulation. Remember, you're the only one that's setting limitations. Don't turn your life into a prison with no visitation. Living hard, trying to dodge the warden and the prison guard. Disregard the negative, then show them where we've been before. Mapping out my dreams, then I put them on the vision board. All about the love, we gotta show them what we're living for.
Love, love, love. Got me thinking about love. I'm gonna sing, sing, sing at the top of my lungs, like ba ba da ba.
First map went the way of ENCE in very commanding fashion. This was meant to be the easy cleanup of the series, their map pick and Nuke, but clearly it hasn't been going so well. 4 rounds only for ENCE, although they are this time on the CT side. Aggressive forZe on this pistol round, nades on towards Squeaky, but no committal just yet as forZe chimes in with the first frag. Nades raining in, and forZe committing behind. Hades next to full, 5 on 3 now. ENCE looking worse for wear in this pistol round.
I just can't buy a kill at this point. Just insta headshots onto Spinks up in heaven as well, after losing 2 of his teammates in quick succession. It felt like ENCE had every opportunity, even though it's a very rough half. If they win the pistol, for me, they were straight in this one. Maybe Spinks can still bring this one back from the jaws of defeat, or perhaps not, because D has been knocked to 13. And it certainly will be unlucky for ENCE this time. forZe, with their second pistol and a 12th round on top of it, they are looking imperious. They are looking so much better. A far cry from the ancient performance.
And as you said, had ENCE even picked up the pistol round here, that's a clear route back to getting into this game on the CT side of Nuke, comfortable, you know, get that economy rolling. And that was forZe just slamming the boot down on the throat of ENCE. Pistol round goes to them. It will be the force buy for the European mix on ENCE. So never say never. They can get the reset here, but as we often talk about these rounds just being economic damage, to be honest, this feels like a must-win for ENCE. They have to reset the T-side right now and put forZe's money back in the bin.
Oh yeah, this almost feels like a do or die for ENCE, because they lose this, it's 13-4, probably 14-4. At that point, it just feels like an insurmountable task that's laid ahead of them. So they've put themselves in this corner. They've backed themselves to do damage and win the round at this stage. For me, the concerning sign is that between DreamHack and Snappy, or DreamHack and Spinks, pardon me, there's only 11 kills. And when you think of what these 2 players are capable of, and what they did in the last map, that is pretty crazy. Spinks, in the meanwhile, though, speak of the man, is about to fend off potentially against some players on ramp, but instead he's gonna go down. Actually takes a frag with him, but Snappy has fallen, and with his life being deemed forfeit, ramp control falls the way of the T's.
2 already down though for ENCE, so it's not all she wrote just yet. DreamHack here in towards control is spotted very early on as Dotto coming out of the single door. Felt like a sliver of an opportunity there, but not long for this world. DreamHack also taken down 13-4, and honestly, there might even be a conversation about forcing here for ENCE being so far down. I think they'll eco, but pick your poison. If you save here, you're giving forZe 14, only 2 away from clinching the map.
Yeah, it feels like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You force buy, you lose. You save, you lose. Either way, forZe get 14, very likely. Now, that's barring some kind of crazy play from Spinks and his Deagle, or maybe a complete and utter flubbed round from forZe, but it's not looking that way. 2 first kills go their way. Kenzie's down to 34, but that doesn't really matter. Even if he dies, he's got the SMG. This is the expendable weapon. And Jerry actually takes that SMG from his hands and just charges straight through on the site. Picks himself up 1. And all those 2 casualties, forZe have plenty of economy to replenish those fallen weapons. This really does not matter for them whatsoever.
Yeah, precisely. Economic damage at this point in the game is just... it's just consolation moving into map 3, to be honest. Snappy, though, if he can recover an AK, I guess that's the result, but he's taken down. Almost immediately, Shalfie there chiming in. And I feel like the player we need to talk about quickly is Norvi, because Norvi is definitely one who coming into the tournament, who throughout the tournament been under a little bit of criticism He's obviously a new guy on the block, but we haven't seen him performing so well. And this map from him has been absolutely sensational, particularly on the CT side on that A-bomb site. So Norvi, he's been a little bit quiet throughout the tournament so far, but a great map from him.
Oh, he was a bastion. A safeguard on that A side. So many multi-frags. And it could be one of the last passages of play of this map as Dotto and Spinks do put down 2 kills. Zorti's also been dropped low, and the frags coming through thick and fast. ENCE actually have something to be proud about in this round. A good hold, but it has to be one of many, and they can't take their eye off the prize. This round isn't done just yet. The importance of keeping these 4 players alive cannot be understated. Because even if forZe lose, but they take another player with them, that could catch up with ENCE sooner rather than later, and they've lost the AWP. And Shalvi's still healthy, still with a minute left on the clock, could put the hurt locker in effect, and he gets peeked. Oh, the only thing that saved Snappy there was the barrier. He tagged him through the barrier, otherwise Snappy was a goner.
Ooh, you know, Snappy gets the frag there, but that felt like a very overzealous peek, very unnecessary. And had, of course, the AWP picks up the frag, that would have been a 1-on-2 from what should have been a completely undoable scenario. So, of course, Snappy does get the kill, but that felt like a little bit too much. So, still a good buy here from forZe. Clearly, enormous round lead. There's no even conversation of comeback just yet. And it feels like, to me, for ENCE, the important part is just getting some rounds on the board. They need to at least show a little bit what they're capable of before we go into that third and final map. And Jerry, he's on a complete tear, fast over silo, on towards the mini area, but he does get traded out in the end. 3-on-3. Oh, this is so chaotic on this A-bomb side. Look at the bomb. It's still out towards the lobby. Dotto coming through the top of heaven, top of the hut even. Falls next, and what on earth is going on, Vince? This is complete madness.
I have no answer for you. I'm just strapping myself in and letting this round wash over me as Hades lets the bullets wash over his head. Shalvi's Glock takes him down. I don't want to say that ENCE have given up, but after seeing that last round, Alan, I can't really logically say anything otherwise. That felt like they were just throwing bodies in and seeing what was going to stick. It was so sloppy and so haphazard in a round that really should have been theirs.
Just complete madness. Who even knows what's going on at this point? And yeah, at least from the mentality perspective, it'd be so nice for ENCE just to stabilize and at least show, you know, some good CT setups and good individual plays. Fast towards out though of forZe. Hades around this red crate. A lot of damage. Spinks on that auto shot. We'd love to see it. Man advantage now for ENCE. Feels like the first one of those for a while. And remaining 2 T players still penned in towards outer. Spinks, though, could be soon to meet Shelfie.
And this round's certainly far from over, even though Spinks is making moves round the back of forZe, and Snappy has the cover cross. Great shot from Snappy. That should be the round done now. Shalvi's living on borrowed time, and Spinks about to collect. Whether he can collect in time, though, to pay off the debt for the life of Snappy has now been answered. And important, they kept those 3 players. They also picked up 2 AKs and have a scout alongside it. And forZe finally in a position where they may even have to think about ecoing. The only thing that makes me think that they may not is because Norvi and Jerry were in double eco territory. So I think they are actually going to just throw their money into this round and say, screw it, let's go in again.
I always think force buys in this position are something that players don't think about enough. Because you're on map point, you're not aiming for economic damage. It doesn't matter. So I actually think you full eco, run in with the Glocks, doesn't matter if you die, and just play out more and more gun rounds. And I don't think a lot of players actually think about that. They just see the money and then just impulsively, you know, invest, because that's what you would do if this was, you know, 10 to 10. You would definitely buy. So they do go for the investment force. They have got some AKs on the board, and considering there's no AWP, nothing to stop them peeking out, going contact heavy. Snappy off angle on towards ramp. He is forced back. Vince is forced to rotate in to pick up that hole in the CT defense, and Shalfie may find a frag, but his numbers are falling thick and fast. 4-on-2 now.
Well, brick by brick, they're building the foundations of a potential comeback. But they still need to weed out Shelfie on low HP and Jerry alongside him. Playing in the elbow is Jerry. Now, if he moves out towards Hell, the Spinks has this angle covered. His crosshairs a little bit on the low side, though. Not designated for the insta-headshot, and that will cost him his life. Although collectively and combined, there's only 38 HP on the remaining two straggling Ts. That could be more than good enough, considering they both have AKs. And if this does get into a scrappy post plant, who knows? However, with Deha and Dotto being down here in off angles, it's not looking great on the side of forZe, and Deha lines them up and knocks them both down. So a 7th round across the ENCE. This will now surely be an eco on the side of forZe, and an opportunity for ENCE to build back a little bit closer.
1 round at a time. Clearly, that has to be the mentality here for ENCE if there's any opportunity to run this all the way back. So as you said, extremely heavy eco from forZe, just the flashbang on Jerry. Shelfie, he's got the Zeus in hand, so hopefully, for entertainment's sake, we can see him at least try and make use of that one. Deha, though, I think he knows the game here. He knows it's an eco for that T side, and he's smelling out those eco frags. He's even sticking around for the jewels, finds his first, peeking behind the molly, gets his second. He's not going to be falling back. He wants even more of these. Padding the stats now, 4 for Deha, and I think we've all got friends like that in matchmaking.
Well, if I hold this off angle with the Zeus, maybe I'll get a kill while making everyone else watch you for a minute and 15 seconds. So don't be a scumbag, Shelfie. Get in there. Go on. I mean, jokes aside, he knows the economy's a bit low, so if he can get a frag or two, then it makes sense why he's playing kind of this rat angle. But the fact the bomb is outside suggests he probably won't get peeked. Having said that, though, Snappy isn't too far away from him in the lobby side, and they are putting some speculative shots through there on the hut as well. To have a good idea of this situation, is Shelfie about to get swept in from Snappy? No, he's actually gone towards the Squeaky instead. Dotto peering around the corner with his AK. How is Shelfie been completely unchecked so far from not a single player? Oh, here we go. He's about to get shanked, and deserved as well. He's been cleared out and he's been knifed.
Oh, that was beautiful, the way that one cleaned up in the end. So, guns back in the hands of forZe. Not going to have all the utility, though. And actually, we saw this on the first map in Ancient. For me, this is the point where you start taking pauses as the T side. You slow the game down, and you make it a total grind to run this back from ENCE. Don't just launch yourself into these gun rounds without much thought about it. So, they decide instead, we're just going to speed right into this one. Aggressively on out is Hades. Still no open players. What on earth is going on here? Jerry dancing on the ladder. Does find the first frag.
That's bad news. That's just got a whole lot worse. Hades thwarted by Zorti's AK. And a 2-on-5. Even with 2 players sub 10 HP, this feels like it's a done deal. Dotto's lost his head. Snappy has to clutch a 1v5. First frag gift wraps itself across to him in the form of a weakened Zorti. But he's been smoked off. HE in hand, tagged down. It seems very likely that we are heading to a 3rd map. It's just a case of who picks up the final frag. Snappy gets the other weakened element of Norvi. There's still a smoke in his eyes. AK next to him, Molotov behind. And yet another grenade. Wherever Snappy moves, there's HEs and bullets firing his way, and it's going to be ENCE that gets the job done.